Hey, welcome back to Squarebody Stuff. If you guys have been following along, and if you haven't, you need to go back and watch some of the other videos. We just got through doing a cam swap, valve springs, push rods, oil pump, all that good stuff. In cream puff here, my little 350, and looking pretty cool. I'm loving the blue. I've always been a Chevy orange fan, but I'm really loving this blue color. But anyhow, we've done a cam swap. Running pretty good, but it does need to be rejetted. So that's what this video is going to be about, is basically just rejetting the carb, a couple other ways of making a Holley. And that's all I'm going to describe or talk about is a Holley. He's just got a Holley 600 CFM, just your standard, I think 1850 carburetor that you can buy off the shelf anywhere. Don't honestly know where I came up with it at. Alright, first little tip I'm going to show you is this thing, these two things right here, they tear up your gut. Just twist that spring, it comes out. Get it out of your way. Put it up here on the cowl, that way you don't forget it. This guy right here, take your old cut koozie, take some tape, fold it over, get it wrapped up. Just wrap a few deals of tape around it. At least it's padded a little bit. You know, you ain't got a sharp edge cutting into your gut. I've got scars on my stomach from this guy right here. So, alright, now we'll take the air cleaner off and get to the meat and potatoes of this here video. First I got to take the air cleaner off, not a big deal. I do have this cold air induction. And yes, it is ram air. I've got the baffle cut off in front of that, so it does shove fresh air straight into the air cleaner. I have the heat riser baffle blocked off, so it's all straight through ram air, just like the old 70s stuff there. What I'm going to be doing to this, I just lost the washer. I see it. No problem. Now what I'm going to be doing to this carburetor, you could for surely do while it's on the engine itself. Just basically a jet change. I may do something with the power valve circuit. I'm not real sure yet. But for video purposes and showing everybody what I've got going on, it'll be a whole lot easier to pull the carburetor off the bench. And honestly, this is the way I prefer to do it anyways. Because I don't have a mess on my intake. I don't have a mess everywhere. Just a few extra bolts here. Take it off. Set it on the workbench. That way you don't have, when you're draining your fuel bowls, you don't have fuel mess going everywhere. That's just the way I prefer to do it. Either way, you could do everything I'm getting ready to do while it's in the truck. Alright, first little trick I'm going to show you is draining your fuel bowl. Now, of course, obviously I've got this sitting on my workbench. It's going to be nice and easy. I can just drain out to the floor if I wanted to, but I'm not going to do that. But let's pretend you've got this on your vehicle. You're trying to keep a mess from getting all over your intake. You've been running this thing, trying to figure out what's going on with it, and your engine's hot. You don't want a bunch of fuel sitting on top of your hot engine. So take your soda bottle, boom, cut it like that. I like to use this end of it because it just kind of fits a little bit better. This is plenty of volume to hold whatever fuel you got in your fuel bowl. You take one of your screws out of the lower part of your fuel bowl and just let it drain into there. Actually, that's what I'm going to use right now so I don't have a bunch of fuel all over my floor. Take a 5/16 socket. Pull that out. I know you can't see what's going on. How about that? Dribble, dribble, dribble. Wish I can turn it, really get it drained out good, but that's all your fuel you're going to have in your fuel bowl. Now if you used to clean this out before you put the fuel in it, get all the sugars and crap out of there, you can reuse this fuel and pinch it like so, pour it back into your vent tube to refill your fuel bowl whenever you get done with everything. That way you're not having to crank to fill your fuel bowl up if you got a mechanical pump. If you got an electric pump, just turn the key on, electric pump will fill it up, no problem. I'm going to pour this elsewhere right now. I'll just crank on a little bit whenever I go to start it back up. I'm going to take all my bolts out for the fuel bowl. Now I apologize for the background noise. It's raining outside. I've got a tin roof. I guess it could be kind of soothing. I know my videos probably put you to sleep anyway, so the background noise of the rain on the tin roof, you'll be out like a light. No problem. I'll wake you up in a minute. And just gently pry your, this has got a little raised edge. Of course, my metering block has come off with this. I use the good blue gaskets so they don't stick near as bad. Now I need to get my metering block, which that's this guy right here. Get him off of the fuel bowl to get to my jets. And he's not going to play nice. There we go. Alright, first thing I want to go over is this here's the power valve. This one has an 8.5 on it, that's 8.5 inches of vacuum. So what that means is this power valve stays closed until the vacuum drops below 8.5 inches of vacuum. When it drops below 8.5 inches of vacuum, it opens up and enriches your main metering circuit, your main fuel circuit. This got holes behind this power valve that adds an extra probably about 10 jet numbers or so to your main circuit, to your boosters. So whenever you push on the throttle, your vacuum drops, this power valve opens, and it enriches your main metering circuit, so you get a little extra fuel whenever you're getting on it. That's what the power valve is for. Now for a street rig, you really need to have a power valve. You need to put a vacuum gauge in your rig, watch your vacuum while you're going down the highway, kind of figure out where your vacuum is at a nice flat cruise on a flat road. And say you're at, 15 inches of vacuum, and you get into the throttle to pull a small hill or to pass somebody or whatever you want to do. You can kind of get a feel of it, of when you want your power enrichment system to come in. Now I haven't super tuned this or anything with the vacuum gauge yet. But this is a good number because probably making around 13, 14 inches of vacuum at part throttle cruise, just a nice cruise at 65 miles an hour. So whenever I ease into the throttle, my vacuum drops below 8.5 inches of vacuum. This will open up and add some extra fuel to it. So that's kind of a brief, somewhat brief explanation of your power valve system. Now these are your main jets. These are what we're going to be changing right now. I think, honestly, with what I know about what I've got going on with this particular carburetor and this engine, I'm probably going to modify my power valve system. There's little holes in behind this power valve that they're not adjustable. You have to drill them out, and that could be kind of tricky. I don't suggest just drilling them out just because. But what I've got going on right now with this particular setup is at a nice part throttle cruise going down the highway at 65 miles an hour. Just a nice flat road. I'm really good. I really don't need a whole lot more fuel. I need just a little bit more. It's running just a little bit lean, because when I ease into it, I can feel a little bit of a lean surge. And that's where tuning a carburetor is different than tuning EFI. I don't have a fuel map and all that stuff on my laptop. This is all by feel, by vacuum gauge. It's kind of old school technology. You've got to have a feel for what you're dealing with. So what I want to do to this is I want to bump my jet numbers up, probably about 2 jet numbers. And by jet numbers, I mean what's stamped on the sides of the jet. This has got 64 jets in it. I'm going to step up to 66s, and that'll get me where I'm real comfortable with the jet sizes. But I still think I'm going to need more fuel at wide open throttle, which to get more fuel at wide open throttle without messing with your part throttle cruise, you need to modify your power valve side of it, which means drilling out the orifices on the back side of your power valve. We'll get into that in just a minute. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pull my jets out. It's just a flat screwdriver, takes them out nice and easy. Set them off to the side. I'm not going to worry about those guys for right now, because right now I'm going to worry about my power valve system. To take the power valve out, it's a 1-inch. Now, if you don't have a 1-inch wrench, you can use a pair of pliers or whatever you got. Pull your power valve out. See, it's got the spring there. You've got a gasket. Comes off. And I'm not sure if you can see it on the camera or not, but it's got some numbers stamped on there. This is an 8.5, which means 8.5. 8.5 inches of vacuum. That's where that will open up. I've got another one that's marked 6.5, which is kind of your standard one that most carburetors come with, is a 6.5 inch of 6.5 inches of mercury of vacuum. But this one will open up. That's a little too low for what I'm wanting. So this is the power valve I'm going to stick with. But these little holes in here, hopefully you can see those on both sides of that power valve. When that power valve opens up, those are like extra jets. So whenever you push the throttle, your vacuum drops, that power valve opens up, you're sucking extra fuel through those little holes right there. And right now with my particular setup, I need more fuel on that end of it. So I'm going to get my drill set out, figure out where I'm at, and open those up just a little bit to get me more enrichment on my power valve side of things. As I found the drill size that just barely fits into those orifices right there. And what you want to do is, and this isn't actual 100% precision, but it gets you really close. I'll measure with my calipers. We're like 42 thousandths. But what I want to do is I want to open this up, and I think I'm going to go with the 54 thousandths on opening up my power enrichment system. That'll get me more fuel whenever I'm into the throttle. And that's what this motor is telling me it really needs. But I'll take a little bit of grease and put on the end of that. That way all the shavings get pretty much trapped onto this. And what you do is just nice and easy, because this is aluminum. It doesn't take much. You see it's getting some nice little shavings there. And it's actually best to use this hand drill, because that way you don't go too deep. And you have to look in that hole, make sure you're going deep enough, but not too deep. Because this plug right here is actually the well you're actually drilling into, as it comes from your jet circuit all the way up to where your booster is. I hope that makes sense. Alright, now that I got both of them drilled out, not much to it, just take your time, make sure, you shine a light in there, make sure you got all the way through. Don't want to go too far. Make sure you got all the way through. I'd suggest going from this side and plugging up the hole where your booster is. Clean it out with some carb cleaner real quick. Some compressed air. Make sure you don't have any shavings in there. It should be good to go. Now we're ready to reassemble this. I'm going to go ahead and put my power valve back in. And a trick to putting power valves back in is really to hold it like this. Get your gasket, because it's kind of centered on the centering ring on your power valve. Hold it upside down like that. That way you make sure your gasket stays centered. Because you don't want that gasket leaking, because it can cause problems at idle. It'll be flooding over, running really rich at idle. And you don't want to crank on it too much. Just get it good and seated. Now I want to put my different size jets in there, which had 64s. You can read that or not, I don't know. But 64 is what we had in there. I do need to richen up where I was at kind of part throttle, just cruising speed. So I'm going to go with 66s. Which I got plenty of, because that's kind of the most common jet size to come in your replacement carburetors. Alright, got two 66s put in there. Okay, now my metering block is ready to put back on. I've got my carburetor and everything back on. Everything's hooked up. I got my hood latch spring back on there. Don't want to forget that. It makes it a pain in the butt to get the hood latch or hood back up. I'll go ahead and fire it up for you real quick. Give you a little bit of a cold start clip. it sounds pretty good. Of course, doing the work we did on the carburetor, I didn't do anything to the idle side of it, so there's really not any need for any adjustment on the idle mixture screws because I didn't change those, and I had them pretty much where I wanted them. My choke set good, everything's set good. Of course, if you noticed, if you've watched any of the other videos on this truck, the past videos, you'll notice I've got an electric choke set up on him now. I just had a heat riser choke, which didn't work the greatest. Now I've got an electric choke that works. It works mint. I really like it a whole lot better. So I'll put the air cleaner back on, take it for a little test drive. Alright, I got finally got to the blacktop. I got a couple miles of gravel road from my house to get to the blacktop. It's all warmed up now, so we'll see how it acts. Not going to get too crazy with it yet. Gears, like 276 gears, 33 1250 tires on the back, so it's really high geared. I've got it set up for mainly cruising, and the big tires just for kind of a nostalgic look. So it's not going to be the quickest with the gearing it's got, but so far I'm really happy with the cam, the way it acts with the gearing, stock converter. You know, I'm really happy with everything so far. Right now, I'll drive it for a little while, a few days, see how I like the current setup on the carburetor. I may do some more retuning on it. But so far, it does pretty good. Still a little hesitation. Share and subscribe. Don't forget to ring that bell below so you get notifications when I post new videos. Also, in my description below is links to my Teespring store with all my merchandise. Also my Instagram and Facebook pages. Go check them out. And I'll probably got a little more tuning to do on this thing, but hopefully this video shows you a few little tricks to tuning a Holley carburetor.